Who's the best jockey you've seen ride a horse?
Well, you interviewed earlier a friend of mine, Josh Appiafi, who said a similar answer. Steve Cauthen was a key ambassador of changing the way our jockeys ride in the UK. They rode a certain way in the UK for a long time, and Steve Cauthen came over and changed the way our riders ride. Frankie Dettori wouldn't look like he does now if it wasn't for the likes of Steve Cauthen, and he gave an aesthetic to the sport. He made it look amazing, and just the way he brought some style to the sport, and that's what our sport needed at the time. And he was the one person that I wanted to look at. But I just mentioned another guy there, Frankie Dettori. He's been our the person flying the flag for Europe for a long time. He's come over here and he's dominated some races and won lots of Breeders' Cup races. And he's been one guy that I've always been a huge fan of, the way a horse runs for him, but also how balanced he is, and and the connection he has with horses. It's a joy to watch. But there's many great jockeys I've worked with on a regular basis doing JockeyCam. But Steve Cauthen and Frankie Dettori are the two that kind of stand out.
And right? Who goes down as the best trainer in your lifetime, man?
Well, I was very lucky to work for a trainer called Mark Johnson, who's the most winning trainer of all time in the UK. And I worked for him for a very, very long time, for I think over 10 years. And I rode some fabulous horses for him, the likes of horses like Double Trigger and Mr. Bailey's, and a filly that won the 1,000 guineas, a horse called Attraction. So I was very, very lucky to ride some good horses. And he was definitely one of the best trainers that I'd worked for, because he ran his yard a bit differently to most trainers. And it was all about numbers. As many horses as possible he could train, and they trained them all the same way, which was a new thing, a bit like Martin Pipe did in the early days. So it was a great thing to be part of.
When you got to the racetrack, who was that guy, that mentor that you could look to?
I have to say there's not one person. I've got many great friends and great mentors. You interviewed somebody earlier, a friend called Josh Appiafi, and he was an entrepreneur and someone that I look to help start in this sport. And I've taken a lot of inspiration from him. But also another friend of mine called Nick Bentley, who was another jockey, and he was somebody that taught me to ride a thoroughbred. But they were kind of mentors at the time when I was getting into the sport. But my main mentor in life was my father, my dad, who was also a jockey. Rode over 500 winners. He was a jockey in Africa, and I was brought up in Africa as a child. Came back to England when I was 6, and he was the person that's planted this love of the thoroughbred. He's the one that planted the seed, and I'm so glad that I had him have him as a dad, and he's the person that's inspired me to go on this journey in racing, because it's the best sport in the world, I think.
All right. How important is the men and women that take care of these horses day in, day out around the world?
They're key, right? They're the ones. They're the reason why we're able to do this. It's it starts with them and ends with them. The horse's journey. So the people that work on the stud farms. That bring these horses into the world. And then also, and the aftercare that we're doing with these horses, they're the people that the backbone of our industry, But we've also got to thank the owners, I think, as well. They're the people investing the money into our sport. These are the people that are purchasing the horses for us to fall in love with.
And for us, we feel the owners, the trainers, everybody is special and everybody is important. And that's why the real players set out to tell everybody's story.
Absolutely, and Rasai, the work that you're doing with the real horse players is amazing, really. You're getting all these characters that we all know, and we, us inside the sport know, but we need to be telling more stories about these people, because they're inspirations to the people that aren't in the sport that might want to get involved, but also, that might want to get, work in this industry. It's a great industry to work in. There's many different jobs you can do in this sport, from being a cameraman to a jockey to a trainer to someone working in administration. It's endless, the amount of work that goes into you're putting on a race day. So I think if anything, the great work that you guys are doing is inspiring a lot of people to get into the sport.
Oh man, thank you.
Thank you for having me on.